This story begins with a young woman named Connie preparing to meet her fiancé, Clifford Chatterley, an army officer. Their relationship is quite compatible, and she loves his company. Soon, they get married and begin a new chapter in their lives. However, things become complicated when her husband informs Connie that he has to leave for war. She gets upset as they recently got married, but Clifford promises to return soon. Tragically, during the war, Clifford got severely injured, which makes him partially paralyzed, and now he can't walk without support. After the war, when he gets back to England, the couple moved into a huge mansion. Although Connie assures her husband that she will love him forever regardless of his condition. But deep down, she feels shattered and fears that life will never be the same again. Being in such a tough situation, Clifford finds solace in writing about literature. He spent most of his time penning down his thoughts. Meanwhile, his wife Connie feels left out in many ways. Still, she supports him unconditionally and takes care of him all the time. One day, Clifford shares that he wants to continue his lineage, but physically, he cannot impregnate a woman. So, he suggests her to have an affair. Connie feels awkward after hearing this, but Clifford assures her that he will never judge her if she tells the name of the man. One day, after getting overwhelmed by everything, Connie called her elder sister Hilda for support. When she arrives, Connie bursts into tears as she gets exhausted from taking so much care of Clifford all the time. Seeing her sister's deteriorating condition, Hilda becomes upset. She confronts Clifford by stating that Connie is young, but still living with Clifford because she loves him. As a human, she also deserves some freedom to live her own life, and nobody gave him the right to treat her like that. Hilda suggests Clifford to hire a caregiver. Being aware of his wife's condition, Clifford agreed to the condition and hired Mrs. Bolton as his helper. This allowed Connie to finally start a new chapter in her life. One afternoon, Connie walked out to check on some pheasant chicks and suddenly noticed an uncovered man standing outside. She knocked on the door out of curiosity and met Oliver Meller. During their conversation, Connie learned that Oliver was an army veteran, like Clifford. But when he returned home, he found that his wife had left him for another man. Over time, Connie and Oliver's beings to get closer. Soon, she realized she was in love with him and could not suppress her desires. At first, Oliver holds back, but eventually fails to control himself, and they fall into a romantic relationship. At home, while taking bath, Connie felt that this was the thing she had been craving from a long time. As she was unable to resist her growing affection, she approached him again. However, this time Oliver says they cannot do this on a regular basis and both have to control each other, but Connie doesn't care about anything. Soon this becomes a routine. Connie gets obsessed with Oliver and is unable to spend a day without him. She begins to see changes in her body, especially in her chest size. It turns out that she is pregnant with Oliver's child. This forces her and Oliver to face the reality of their situation. Connie doesn't have courage to confront Clifford. So, she tells him that she needs a break and wants to spend some time with her sister, Hilda. Later, Connie visits Oliver to inform him that she is going with her sister for a few days because she is pregnant. Oliver feels bad, but Connie tells him it is necessary as she can't tell Clifford about their relationship. At first, Oliver feels betrayed as he assumed that Connie just used him to get pregnant. But Connie explains him that this is not true. She genuinely loves him, which leads to a mini argument. Next day, Connie feels a little bad for Oliver, so she goes to see him again. This time she reveals that she is planning to divorce Clifford because she loves him. After hearing Connie's plan, Oliver becomes happy and tries to get close. Suddenly, the rain begins to fall. Connie and Oliver removes their clothes and goes outside to enjoy the rain with each other. On the other hand, Clifford gets worried because Connie hasn't returned since the morning. He asks Mrs. Bolton to check on his wife. Mrs. Bolton walked outside and unfortunately finds her with Oliver while they are making love. Later, when she comes back home, Clifford starts to scream at her for being out in a storm. The following day, Hilda arrived as they were about to leave for their Venice trip. Connie reveals that she is in love with someone. Hilda gets excited and asks about him. But when she tells her it's Oliver, their servant, she gets upset and asks her to stop mixing physical attraction with love. Hilda reminds Connie that she can't go and sleep with anyone like this, as her family has some reputation in the society and she can't ruin it. Connie tells her that she is not seeing Oliver to satisfy herself, but because she deeply loves him. To prove her point, she takes Hilda to Oliver's house to introduce them to each other. She asks them what they are planning because sooner or later, Clifford is going to find out about their secret relationship. Before she could leave for Venice, Oliver spends some quality time with her, as it's their first time to be without each other. Even after arriving in Venice, Connie feels lonely, and what she misses the most is clearly Oliver. But, like they say, love is hard to get, and it never comes easily. Back in England, rumors begin to spread about Connie's affair. And in the end, this news eventually reaches to Clifford. Clifford feels extremely ashamed. He calls Oliver into his room and gives him one day to vacate the town. Mrs. Bolton immediately calls Connie and informs her about what has happened. Connie heads back home to meet Oliver, but it's got too late. Oliver was preparing to leave. Connie tries to convince Clifford, but he replies that right now it's best if they both leave each other. Before leaving, Oliver tells Connie that sooner or later he is going to find her and they will be together again. Connie confronts Clifford and asks him to end their marriage, because it is like a burden that she has been carrying from a long time. Even after several months, Connie misses Oliver and feels extremely lonely. One day, she receives a letter from Oliver, who is now working in Scotland. Connie feels happy after reading that Oliver wants her to come to Scotland, so they could start a new life together. Without thinking twice, Connie decides that she will go to Scotland. She drives 800 kilometers just to meet Oliver. After arriving in Scotland, she begins looking for Oliver, and soon Oliver finds her. They decide to spend the rest of their lives together, and now no one can separate them. This is how the story ends. Love isn't just an emotion. It's the only thing we can't get from money and power. While the world may often present us with intricate puzzles and challenges, it's the strength of genuine connections that provides the clarity to navigate them. Through Connie and Oliver's journey, we learn that when we embrace love's transformative power and trust its guiding force, we can overcome even the most daunting of life's mazes.
Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you have any suggestions for future movies, please leave them in the comments section below. Until next time, take care. Goodbye.